All right, so
Or are we, where are we going? Are we taking off some and adding some of the other ones?
let's kind of go from the.
Cause we were done here, so we were, last week left off, we were taking this one out, but I don't know if we were jumping to these ones.
Yeah, so let's do this starting from 6, good performance, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So my next question, after we talked about what would you do if people perform,
And after we had to go change our clothes.
and we had to go change our
Wardrobe change.
and meet, how do you reward good performance?
I would say I try to, well, the one thing that I do that helps so that you can, even be fully aware of good performance and have a good understanding is I do one-on-one meetings.
Okay.
I used to do it with everybody, now it's a little bit less because of the nature of how we've set things up.
Mhm.
But, especially at those one-on-one meetings, I try and, really encourage them. I try and do, I've done it in the past, I should say, I've done gift cards, I've done time off, different things like that, but, it's good that you asked me that, because I probably need to think of that a little bit more and do a little bit better with it. I think in general, what ends up happening is that we keep such a positive vibe here, and I try and manage being very aware of people's lives, and their own passions, and really try and give them flexibility to kind of live out what they love to do. So I think I probably take that for granted a little bit too much, because people love their jobs, and I get people telling me, oh, I love my job, thank you, this is so awesome, and I really tell them, hey, you're doing such a good job. So I tend to probably shoot texts out, personally say it at a team meeting, let everyone know what's going on. But that's a great question, I sitting here feeling a bit convicted that I probably need to be more intentional about that.
Okay.
So
Well,
thanks, dude.
Oh, no
I feel like
problem.
crap now. No, I'm joking. No, I really need to do better at that. That's a great question. Very
No
good question.
problem. That's a good. Well, it brings it to the forefront. So my next question to you is, how is your not-for-profit keeping up with the economy?
Oh yeah, economy sucks.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. This is one of those kind of crazy things, because I know there's a lot of nonprofits that are getting hit hard, especially if you're built on just government funding or grants or things like that. You're really in trouble. One of the things that I've tried to do over the course of the last 5 years is make sure we're really balanced with our support, so that we have a good amount of corporate, private, grants, that whole thing. So doing that, we've been able to not be impacted as bad financially. We've in fact continued to grow year over year over year, and this year we're already considerably ahead of last year, which is great. I will also say though that part of the reason why that's the case is that with the economy being so bad, the need for what we do is even greater. So with the need going up, there have been dollars available to help make it possible to meet those needs. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
So I really do like this question, so I definitely want to keep it in there. As are you introducing going green to your work style?
Yeah, explain it, because I have some different thoughts or ideas of what that means. Is that are you talking about paper?
Resources, paper, just basically going green,
Yeah.
Clean energy, that's the new movement with,
Yeah.
Clean energy and stuff like that. Like, are you doing anything with, your not-for-profit that's supporting that clean energy type of movement?
Yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, looking at it in general as a whole, going green, I guess as much as I can really understand it. Little things, like we definitely recycle. That's a massive thing for us. We try and have very little garbage, and I have very anal people that work for me about doing that. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, we'll do it.
Okay.
So we definitely are doing things like that. We try to be, we really do, and we've been very intentional about it, especially within team meetings. We've actually purchased and have different types of software to eliminate paper.
Okay.
So we try to eliminate paper as much as we possibly can.
Okay.
Certain times you gotta have it because it makes more sense, or it's more useful to have. but we try to eliminate paper. What else have we done? I mean, we're really adamant about it within our programs.
Direct deposit.
No, we do that actually. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you. So as far as paper goes, we try and be as paperless as possible. For
Okay.
real. I mean, and I would say part of that is convenience, and part of that is genuinely trying to be aware of what we're doing environmentally. I will say though that from the very first program we ever started, which was BURP, our bicycle repair program, being environmentally friendly has been something we've been trying to teach the kids. So we talk about, in that program, that's the very first program we ever started, we talk about respecting yourself, respecting the environment, and respecting others. So we've tried to build that in. We also are partnered with the largest privately owned horticultural company on earth. And we are teaching urban gardening.
Okay.
So I don't know
So,
if
yeah.
that falls into
that
this,
falls
what you're
into
talking
that
about.
whole idea.
But yeah, we really want to encourage, being active, gardening, those sorts of things. So hopefully it cuts down on different types of pollution, that sort of thing.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So,
rock on.
go
So
ahead.
we are aware of it, and I do have staff that are very adamant and passionate about those things.
awesome.
I'm not saying I don't
Yeah.
just maybe not as passionate.
Okay. Here's the next question. This is a little bit more reflective question. How did you become successful? And can you define success?
Yeah, it's
for
like,
me?
how do you define
Define
that?
it with the whole question.
Well, I'll tell you this, I grew up poor and
Okay.
thought that sucked,
Right.
and it did. And
Yeah.
so I, originally, I would say at some point, my definition of success was accumulating, having stuff. I wouldn't have called it that, it would have been making sure I wasn't poor. I was like, I wanna make some money, have a nice place, have nice stuff. I can tell you, as I began to attain some of that, start having some things, some nice cars, some nice house, some nice stuff, that quickly became, kind of empty. You just realize all you want is the next new thing or the next something. So the definition of success began to change for me, and it became more purpose-driven. Kind of what, and like I said, it was driven a lot by my faith. But, so I'm not out there, throwing Bibles at people's heads. So I didn't define it that way. Success wasn't defined that way, but it began to be defined more as the most important thing on the planet is people. It's not accumulating things, stuff, it's not all that, it's people. And so my new definition, or as I've kind of grown and matured in my own faith and just in my life, I would define it by the amount of lives I can positively impact.
Wow.
And so, how did I become successful? I hope I'm being successful. I don't know. It's some days it feels like woo. Some days I'm like, dang, I suck. But I can tell you, the passion thing is really important, and I think. I read a really neat thing, I'll share it with you actually when this is all done, because you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
But it really talks about what makes somebody burn inside. Because what makes you burn, if you'll allow yourself to go down that road and just go after it, it can be somewhat of an unstoppable force. And you can really achieve a ton with the combination, now here's the trick, of the burn, that thing that you are lit on fire to go do with your life, and hard work. Because a lot of times the burn, or that thing you're passionate about, stops at ideas or talking, and then eventually what will end up happening is that burn will go away, or that passion will kind of fizzle.
Wow.
And then you get into what's called the rat race. You get into monotonous life. You get into what how I've referred for a while. You just start living, you start existing, and you're no longer really living. You're just existing. And you're being around, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I think I was like that as an undergrad.
Well, you know what? That's right.
Whew, I'm just existing. I'm not living. I feel like school is just trap.
And here's the thing, to be successful at it, I'll add a third thing actually. So you've got to have that burner passion for something. You have to have that willingness to do the hard work. I mean, when I started this organization, like I said, I thought I was going to help 5 kids. I can remember going into schools. I mean, I didn't have a business card. I didn't have anything. No one knew me. They thought I was a weirdo. They'd throw my stuff in the garbage, and I mean, I was discouraged, but I was like, you ain't stopping me, because these kids need help, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to come back. But the third thing I will say, which is sometimes it's all throughout the process. It especially is up front, but all throughout the process is you have to be willing to take a risk. So, and I can tell you, for a while there, I wasn't sure what that meant. And even before I understood what I was going to be doing, I wanted a life of adventure, was willing to take a risk. And I had some opportunities that were centered around money, actually growing, because I thought, oh, I'll make more money and do whatever. But I soon realized for me that that wasn't worth the risk. But like I said, even to bring it full circle with that whole idea that people are what's important and what I'm after, and so that was worth the risk. So
So if
you
you
gotta be willing
change-
to take a risk, yeah, work hard, but have something burning.
That's cool, and that's how you are becoming, and you are successful because of those things.
I hope so.
I definitely appreciate those things. Do you have anything that you would like to change about your daily work?
Man, I can tell you. See, it has the word work in there.
Right,
So
right,
no matter
right.
what, there's always something where you're like, but I can really honestly tell you straight up, I love what I do. I love how it plays out. I love the challenges. I don't always like them, but I love all the different aspects because it pushes me. I'm growing all the time. I learn about myself, even dealing with people. I have to learn to apologize at times. I mean, the nature of what we do is so relationally driven, whether it's internally with the staff, externally with the community, and I love it. So I mean, to my daily work, man, I wouldn't. If I had $1 billion, you came in straight up, piled $1 billion, I'd do the same thing I'm doing right now. I just grow it.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, but yeah, the nature of it is that it is work. So there are definitely times where you're like, son of a bee.
Yeah, but
This
then
is
you
hard.
still remind
Oh,
yourself with
yeah.
that burn. And
That's right.
The
That's
fact that-
there. See, now
yeah,
you're getting it.
yeah.
That's why you got to keep the culture, and that's part of the challenge. You
Yeah,
gotta keep
it
the
all
culture.
comes together. It all makes
Boom.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're schooling me, man. So this is the last question. Last question. It's a Peter Drucker question, which we're required to ask.
Got it.
And it basically is, what has already happened that will create the future?
Yeah, and as best as I can, I'm gonna answer my best to the degree that I even understand it, because that's some deep stuff. It's
Isn't
like,
it kind of deep? It's
what?
philosophical.
Yeah, like wow, man, I'm gonna sit on a couch and then probably cry for a little bit, laugh, and no. I really think if I understand it, which I may not, but I think that we already have this concept. So I'm going to bring it into a triple threat, right?
Yeah.
We already have this concept, this idea that we believe that people have passion in them. They
Right.
have the ability to change the world, whether it's their world, someone else's world, the world, hopefully, for good. So something that's already happened that will create the future is this idea of awakening passion in people, or reconnecting people to their passions. That's one part, and then providing the opportunity as an outlet to give it away in love and service. And so that's what I think. I think we're so in some ways to say it's already happened. It's that we're wired that way. We're created that way. We're born that way. I don't care who you are, where you live, what country, what nationality, language. I don't care who it is. It's in you, and so it's already there.
Right.
And then how? Yeah.
So
how-
basically, that passion has already been placed in everybody,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this purpose has been placed in everyone. That's already happened.
Right.
And basically, that will create a future of individuals who are passionate about what they do and are able to service people through Triple Threat,
Right.
based on their passion.
Or something else.
Or
for that
something
matter.
else,
That's right, man.
but-
It's a movement, dude.
Yeah, it's a movement,
Yeah.
and basically based on that fact that that's innate in everyone, that's going to build a future of people who get.
Yeah. Who can hopefully, like I said, change the world.
Wow, that's awesome. So thank
My
you.
turn. Hold on. My turn. This
Okay,
ain't
yeah.
over. I gotta ask you some questions. What?
Okay.
Hey, do you
Yeah.
want to check and make sure before we do it?
Yeah, let's see.
Watch. It's already been shut down. It's still going?
No, it's still going.
Good. I was worried for a second. I was like,
It's still going. Actually, looks really good.
all right, cool.
All right.
Okay. I've been very appreciative and excited to meet with you, and I'm thankful and humbled that you'd even asked me, to participate in this. But yeah, I have a couple questions for you. The first is, how are things going at one of my favorite places